She turns the pavement into a catwalk. She is Jana Burčeska. Are you guys ready to talk about it?
Let's do this.
I am pleasantly surprised, hand on heart. I've always loved the studio version, but the Eurovision pre-party season left me rather confused. It was unclear whether she would be able to pull this off, and I've got to say, today, once again, she has delivered. She always kind of pulls these sneak tricks. You know, when she was introduced, we said, who is she? And then she slayed with the song. She slayed this morning. I think they've managed better than most to mix the backing vocals and the main vocals. It actually sounded quite good, and her biggest strength, her biggest strength is being playful. She's slut dropping, she's spreading the legs, she's giving us some basic instinct realness, she's looking over the shoulder, you know, she's giving, you know, blowing kisses with her eyes. It's just very fun and energetic in a way I didn't expect. And finally, I love the cityscape. It's New York City, it's monochrome, the floor is a record, and let me tell you, that record is a hit. The song to me isn't a massive club banger, it never has been. It's in that tempo where it's not quite dancey, but it's not boring either. In any case, long story short, I'm pleasantly surprised that they've managed to pull this off.
Well, before the preview party started, this was my number one. It was 10 out of 10 in the Wee jury. I absolutely loved it. I played it over and over and over again. And then Israel and London and Amsterdam happened, and I was like, what? And I felt conned because she sounded completely different to what she did in the studio version. But today, like yourself, I am pleasantly surprised because my expectations were gone from 10 out of 10 down to at least maybe a 6 or a 5 even. But I'm still not completely convinced. I don't know why they went with such a different voice on the studio version, because it's not as if her voice is atrocious. She sounds to me a bit like a mix of Valentina Monetta and Polly Genova. It's that kind of husky voice, and if she had that, I mightn't feel so aggrieved by the live version. But she sang well today. The stage design is very good. It's very impactful. There's kind of cityscapes and monochrome, and it's very modern. I'm not too keen on the choreography. I feel that there could be an extra dancer. I know she's supposed to dance alone, but couldn't she like be pushing the person away or something? I don't know. It's just she seems very alone.
I mean, in the music video, she doesn't dance alone. She dances with the guy in the modern setting, in a way, in the VR. And I would have maybe liked to see something like that. I do like the monochrome sort of background into the pink. That works really well. You see kind of vague shots of the music video. I do have to say though, as much as I love the song and as much as I love Jana, the vocals still aren't really there. I mean, they're still, like, it's an improvement on what we heard, but I do feel like we're maybe being a bit overly kind because I want the song to do well and I want her to do well. It's still not there. There's a lot of backing vocal going on there that's helping to mask it, I feel. It just feels like with she like slut drops as well, things like that. Yeah. That didn't work for Anne-Sophie, and in fact I think we were quite critical in a way because that was it felt a bit tacky with Anne-Sophie, and this almost borders onto that. She's very coquettish and playful, but it goes, there's a line, I think Iveta Makuchan, it was classy sex. This feels a little bit like nightclub sex appeal.
Listen, sexuality comes in many different flavors, and some people, you know, are flirtatious without doing it deliberately. Some people are saucy without actually wanting to do anything. Some people just play sluts on YouTube and they're not sluts in real life. And I feel like this is a good example of someone who's just very bubbly and buoyant, and so her sex appeal I don't find offensive. I find it really playful.
Don't get me wrong, like I'm not hating on it in that regard, you know, but I think that on camera it doesn't necessarily read right.
I guess what I'm trying to say is Anne-Sophie didn't feel authentic, but this feels authentic. Like, I feel like the Jana we see on stage is the Jana we see in real life, you know? It's like almost a cartoon in a lovable, amazing way.
But it's amateurish. In real life, it's amateurish.
Which is okay, honey.
No, this song is a slick, modern pop song. Amateurish doesn't come into it. If she had a song like Slavko, he can prance around amateurishly because his song is high camp. This is high class. She needs to be high class.
Listen, things can be trashy and likable. I understand you're saying the contrast between the song and the performance. I guess what my point is that she's very likable in this. Because right now I'm looking at her and she makes you smile, and it helps me see past perhaps some of the vocal shortcomings.
I just think that there's some things that could be tightened up a little bit. It just no, that sounds weird.
This is not a plastic surgery video.
Not anything like that. I just think that it all just looks a little like she's just kind of there by herself. I mean, it's better than some Macedonian staging that we've seen in the past, but I still think that, you know, you can, if you had a Sasha Jean-Baptiste, something like that choreographing this, there would be a huge step change. At the moment, it does just feel a bit like they've thrown it together. Bits of it work, bits of it don't, and I don't know whether they'll be able to change it all. I hope they do, because like Porrick, I loved this song before the preview parties. I still love it. I still listen to it all the time, but
so let's be concise and just say whether we think this has a shot of making the final.
No.
It has a chance, but it's an outside chance.
After the preview parties, I would have said no, probably, but now I think it has moved up. I think now it does have an outside chance to get in. I think she, judging from her expressions right now that the performance is over, she knows things need to be fixed, and if they can fix them, I think this can elevate even more.
The problem is it's not as polished as Serbia or Austria before it.
Oh, I actually preferred this to Serbia, if I'm honest. This felt
Serbia
less cold.
More high class.
It looked classy, but it felt cold, whereas this maybe doesn't look as high class, but it feels warm because of her. In any case, that's what we think. What do you think? Are you excited to see Jana turning the pavement into a catwalk in front of a New York cityscape? You can let us know here on wiwibloggs.
And make sure to subscribe.
And like and comment on this video.
And we will see you later. Bye!